What's up, YouTube? Jeff back again, and today I'm super excited because today we are taking a look at One UI 4.0 on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. So One UI 4.0 just came out a couple days ago, actually yesterday in the morning here in the US. It was available for download, and I put it on my Galaxy S21 Ultra, and I want to show you guys some of the new things that are with this. Now, I am writing a full piece on this for XDA developers, and that article should go live in a couple days. It's taking me some time to get the full screenshots up to date. I just want to give you guys a kind of an overview of the big features in this video, talk about the smoothness and things like that, and then I'll have literally almost every feature that's on the changelog rundown in that particular article. So the first thing that you'll notice is what's not in the One UI 4.0 beta. We know, of course, about Material You on Android 12. I showed that out on the Pixel 5a when I did the Android 12 Beta 5 video. That is not here. So you do not get Material You on the One UI 4.0 beta. There's no way to like theme things fully with your wallpaper, your clock, and all that stuff. So Samsung did not import that into One UI 4.0. So a lot of people kind of asking the question, could we see that in a later version of the One UI 4.0 beta? Of course we could, because Android 12 didn't really have Material You fully integrated until some of the later beta versions. But the chances of seeing that are pretty slim. I don't think that Samsung's going to go with that full Material You integration. I could be wrong. I mean, you can see the settings menu basically looks the same as it does on One UI 3.1. I mean, I actually have the Galaxy Z Fold 3 right here, so I can show you. I mean, I have this one in light mode because I was doing some comparisons earlier, but the settings menu, right, is not drastically different. So we didn't get that big change that some people were hoping for in terms of seeing Material You appear on One UI 4.0. But there is some interesting stuff here. There's redesigned lock screen widgets. This is a cool one that shows dual clock, and the clock actually changes from light to dark depending on what time it is in the city. I chose Phoenix, where I live, in Barcelona, just to show you. Phoenix, it's daytime. Barcelona, it's nighttime. That's kind of a cool feature. On the lock screen, you can now change audio input directly. Let me show you guys an example with an audio app. So let me try Spotify. Obviously, I don't want to play a bunch of music, because if I do that, then my video will get flagged. But if you have your player on the home screen in Spotify, you can go to media output, and then in here, this is where like your headphones and everything, like Bluetooth speakers, would show up. The other cool thing about the music playing on the lock screen is that actually if you use a different music app, so let me swipe away Spotify, I also have YouTube Music here. And so if you open up a different music app like YouTube Music and I start playing something, then go back to the home screen, you'll notice that you get different controls. So you saw when I had Spotify, it had the little heart icon over here because Spotify uses heart icons for kind of favoriting stuff. But on YouTube Music, you've got the thumbs up and the thumbs down on the left and the right, because that's the YouTube Music sort of format. So this is different and kind of something that's very interesting at the end of the day that I really like about the changes to the lock screen. So that's something that looks very nice, very clean. The other thing you can do as well on the home screen, let me go back, it keeps timing out, I should have set that up, I always forget, is you now have when you double tap on the time, you've got a new calendar widget that's got the whole month in addition to kind of your stuff you're supposed to be doing each day. So you can see all of the things that are coming up, as well as your sort of calendar view that's kind of in line. So that's certainly a nice look for One UI 4.0. The always on display also has a really cool new feature. Let me go in and find that really quick. I always forget where they have always on display. It's always at the bottom where it says looking for something else. So sometimes I just go to display and scroll down and find it. I think it's in lock screen now. But if you go into always on display, there's now a new option to show the always on display when you have new notifications, right? And that's a really cool feature, because in the past, you basically have been able to choose the other options, like you show it scheduled, show it always, but now show when you get new notifications. That's something I really like. It's a feature I've wanted for a while. I find it particularly convenient to use it only when I get new notifications to see the information that I need on the lock screen, and now that option is there. The quick panel's been redesigned. You guys can kind of see the notifications are a little more compact, a little bit more readable. Also, if you slide down, brightness slider is a little bit larger and easier to reach. This is kind of the goal of Android 12, right? In terms of Google's design language, is to make sure that everything's more reachable by moving it to the bottom of the screen. Now, this is something you guys might not be able to see too easily on video, but hopefully when I post my article at XDA, you'll easily be able to see this in the screenshots I took. When you change the phone from dark mode to light mode, the icons actually get ever so slightly tinted. So if you go up here and you change this from dark mode to light mode, the icons are actually a bit brighter at the bottom, and so is the wallpaper. The wallpaper gets tinted a little bit. And then when you switch it back to dark mode, not only does the background in sort of your shade, notification shade get tinted, the icons are actually a little bit less bright as well. They get a little bit of a tint to make it look more consistent. Also, text as well, text, icons, illustrations, everything is darkened when you switch to dark mode, and it gives it a more consistent look kind of throughout dark mode. Now, the charging animation, I took a picture of this for my XDA article. Of course, I can't really easily show it right now. I don't have a charger right by me. This is the new charging animation. There's a brand new charging animation that's supposed to show you sort of how fast the phone's charging. We know Samsung's fast charging really isn't that fast, but it is something that, that is there, and it is a new kind of charging animation, so I figured I would show that off. The Samsung keyboard, I'll show you guys this really quick. There's some cool stuff inside the Samsung keyboard, especially when it comes to emojis. One thing you can do that's really cool that I really like is, of course, you've got your regular emojis and all that kind of stuff. There's also stickers and everything like you're used to seeing on a Samsung phone. One new thing that's really nice is if you scroll over here, you've got all these different options. And one of the options is the stickers, all the familiar stuff that you're used to from Samsung. But then you've also got these animated emojis. You can actually create custom ones where you combine two emojis and then it'll animate them together. Once you do that, it kind of shows you what the animation looks like. That's kind of a cool feature. I've never been a big fan of Samsung's keyboard, but here's kind of something that you can do with it that you can't do on some other keyboards, and I really like that. It also has built-in Grammarly as well now for kind of spelling and grammar suggestions, so there's that as well. So some new interesting stuff in Samsung keyboard. For those of you who prefer to use Samsung keyboard, I probably will still use Gboard more than anything else, but that's really just me. The camera interface has been simplified and kind of made a little bit nicer. It's a cleaner layout inside the camera interface. You can see the zoom level on the lens icon for easy zooming, which is really nice. That means that you can do this even in modes that only support one lens, like, if you have a particular phone that only supports, the regular lens maybe. The Galaxy S21 Ultra, of course, supports most lenses in most modes. Video now starts automatically as soon as you press the icon instead of after you release it, which is a little bit of a change. It used to be after you release it that it started. Pro mode, they reorganized some of the settings in Pro mode, changed things around a little bit. You can zoom in for finer editing when you do QR code scanning. A lot of interesting things that have been added to the camera settings at the end of the day. Whenever you turn the grid lines on the Pro mode, horizontal indicators help you line up your shot. So if you turn the grid lines on in here, then it'll show you that. I think you actually have to go in here, right, to turn on the grid lines, like so. And then it gives you a horizontal indicator there. You kind of see to get a perfectly level shot. So some interesting things inside the camera as well that Samsung has added. Little things that you might not think about if you don't use these all the time. Gallery has some interesting features as well. One of the perhaps most interesting features inside Gallery is if you actually go in here, now you can actually edit the date and time and location a photo was taken. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. If you go into details, you can see right here, you can edit the date and time that this photo was taken. I don't know if that's something we should really be able to do. So you can change when you took a photo or make it look like you took a photo at a different time. There's also quite a few other features that pertain to album covers and things like that, that you can actually sort of see the album covers on the front here. And then when you open it up, that's the first picture that ends up being on the front. You can use the photo editor now to add emojis to pictures as well, which is very cool. And the search works a lot better now inside the galleries for finding photos. If you make a typo, for instance, it'll find the photo for you correctly. It does seem to be a bit better, although some typos it won't recognize. Like I tried earlier with screenshot, like it's supposed to be able to recognize, like if I do, let's say this, it should be able to figure out that this is screenshot, but it can't figure out that that's supposed to be screenshot. So obviously it'll get better over time, but that's something to mention. AR emoji, one cool thing I found about AR emoji is that you can now set your contact photo as your AR emoji. So that's kind of cool. So if you go in here, you can pick your AR emoji, choose a pose, and then you can set that as your contact photo. So you can just go to done, save, and then that's my contact photo now, which is kind of a cool feature. Multitasking, there have been some changes to the way multitasking works at the end of the day. If you say you want to do some little multitasking, you go in, you find the window that you want to multitask with, right? You drop that there. Now you can pin this taskbar to the top. See how I've done that there? Pin the taskbar so that you can easily resize it. The other thing you can do is you can pinch to resize the window as well when you have picture-in-picture here at the top. And then here also in the very corner, if you have the settings menu, you can also pinch to go back to full screen or to go to single screen as well. So using the pinch to zoom feature, very useful. Drag this around, you can minimize it into a bubble, all those sorts of things. You can see there is still a little bit of issue with getting it to pull from each side, but it's not really that hard to use at the end of the day. The other thing you can do with multitasking is that you can keep your current app in the view while using your edge panels. You can slide these out if you have multiple edge panels, and you can open other apps using the picture-in-picture mode and kind of multitask in that way. So there's quite a few changes to multitasking for those of you who use it. Those will be particularly useful. I'm assuming all of these changes will also come to the Galaxy Z Fold 3, and those will be very useful in the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Some of the other big changes, they do have some new settings in here. They've got the safety settings, safety and emergency setting. You can add your medical info, wireless emergency alerts, things like that. Something that's just useful for people in general. Under digital well-being, you now have a driving mode. So that's near the bottom here, driving monitor, which you can turn on while you're driving to kind of reduce the amount of time that you use apps while you're driving. Inside device care, there's now some new changes to the way it looks. You see an emoji that tells you the status of your phone, so that you kind of know how it looks. I don't really care for the optimization, but you know, some people like to use that. Also, if you go into battery now and you go into more battery settings, you now have the option to protect your battery. This was on the Fold and the Flip 3, but now it comes to other phones like the S21 and the S21 Ultra with One UI 4.0 inside device care. And then, of course, the nice thing about this is that you can use it to kind of troubleshoot also battery problems and issues from inside there. The other thing about the One UI 4.0 beta that I found to be a little annoying, this is not really a feature change, but every time you go into a new app, I'm trying to see if I can find one. Like if I go into LinkedIn, it's going to ask you, let me just see. Well, maybe I have to sign in there to see it. I'm trying to see if I go into an app. Whenever you go into a new app, it automatically asks you if you want to allow notifications for that app. But I think I probably have to actually sign in. Maybe if I go to YouTube. I don't know if I've been to YouTube. There you go. So allow YouTube to send you notifications. And you have to choose this for literally every single one of them. You get a new notification that asks for this to allow notifications, every new app that you use. I don't know how to change this. I've been trying to figure this out. So every time, I guess it's a good thing if you really want privacy, right? It's certainly a good thing, but it is annoying if you use a bunch of apps that you do want to allow notifications. Apparently the default now is that notifications are not on unless you say they can be on when you enter the app. There's a bunch of other interesting privacy things, like you can also choose to share location only approximately with an app. Let's see if I can find an example. Well, first of all, there's maps. Can it actually get notifications? But then, like if you want to search, say, for something, and you want to find directions, and then let's say you choose your current location, it'll ask you if you want to use your precise location or your approximate location, and then this will basically determine kind of what it looks like at the end of the day, if you want to actually share exactly where you are. Now, obviously in maps, I want to share exactly where I am because I want to get good directions, but there might be other apps like a weather app that you only need approximate location at the end of the day, but you don't care about getting precise location to protect your privacy. Anyway, those are the big things that I've noticed. So far, it's pretty smooth, actually. I haven't noticed any huge issues. Samsung Pay doesn't work. So if you're, count on Samsung Pay daily, don't install the beta because you can't use Samsung Pay or other contactless payments. I'm assuming. I tried Samsung Pay. I didn't try GPay, but I'm assuming none of those will work because it's beta. That's been the case in previous betas of One UI in the past, so not a big surprise there. Battery life's been good so far. I ran it for a day. I haven't been seeing big changes from the battery life I was getting before. No huge bugs though, other than just if it's a daily driver and you really care about that. I tested it with Android Auto. Works with Android Auto. I use that every day. This morning I had no issues with it like spontaneously disconnecting. I did have issues with the Pixel 5a on Android Auto running the Android 12 Beta 5. So that's nice that it works with Android Auto. Yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Again, I'm going to have a full video, full article on this on XDA Developer. It's going to be very long, kind of goes through screenshots of absolutely everything, including some accessibility changes and Bixby. I know not everybody loves Bixby, but that's something to sort of think about. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see Material U on One UI, or do you want Samsung to stay away from it? Do you like that they kind of shied away from some of those theming things that Google is doing? Do you like some of the other small changes they've made here or there? Do you think it's a big upgrade, not a big upgrade? Do you think they did too much or too little? Let me know in the comments. We can talk about it. This was a long video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter if you want. I'll drop the link below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.